Good morning, Year 6. Today we're going to look at using our plans from our writing plans from yesterday as the basis for our adverts, which we're going to write today. Now, I won't speak for too long because I know with our writing sessions, it's best if you spend the maximum time possible focused on the actual output, the quality of your writing. However, I'm going to model how I can pull through my plan into my writing so that then you can understand how you might do that with yours, and you can see some of the devices, and I'll explain my thought process as we go through. Okay, right, guys, before you start, you'll need to revisit two documents. Your no-show, so you'll need to look at that just to remind yourself the different ingredients that you're going to put into that pot of writing before you get writing with it. And additionally, your plan from yesterday. So I've got my plan for Hole's Homeland there. And you're going to be using those two documents as the basis for your piece of writing. But more importantly, the thing in between your ears, your brain, that's going to be something that you're going to unleash onto the page as you write. Now, the piece of writing I'm going to go through with you is okay. I'm sure about 30 of you could do better than it. Okay, I'm sure that lots of you, if you were thinking independently about a text that you'd thought about, you'd write better. I was trying to do it on Holes because it's something that you've read, but I'm not that familiar with Holes. I think I read it last about 8 years ago. So my brain doesn't quite keep in all the details of it. So I'm sure you could do a better job. But you're going to write one about Dickens Land, okay, or whatever you're calling Dickens World. Okay, so we've got our piece of paper, our lined piece of paper, ready to write. I'm not going to send you out a piece of lined paper because I believe that you'll all be able to access paper yourselves. And I know that Mr. Day and the office staff have put together some packs for you if you need them. Okay, now we start with our title, Visit Hole's Homeland. It needs to be central, it needs to be clear. And the reason the typesetting is different here is I want to make the point to you, even though you're working at home, try and care about that presentation. Try and practice that joined writing. Try and ensure that it's as neat as it possibly could be. Okay, so Visit Hole's Homeland. You'd all underline that. Unfortunately, my screen wouldn't allow me to. Okay, then we start with a question. That hook, pull us in. Have you ever wanted to understand how Stanley felt when he was living in the camp? Okay, I've extended the question that was originally in my plan because I want to really put to the reader what they're thinking about, why they're considering going there. Okay, so have you ever wanted to understand how Stanley felt when he was living in the camp? Okay, so those people who really like Lewis Carr's writing are now starting to think, maybe I'll go, maybe I will. Wondered. So again, we got rather than wanted to understand, we've changed the verb to wondered. Wondered how it felt to be sent to this scary setting, despite being innocent. Okay, as I'm reading it through, even now, I can edit it as I go. If I were looking at this, I'd be like, oh, hang on a second, I've accidentally missed a word out. I'll change that, I'll line it through. Wondered how it felt to be sent to this scary setting despite being innocent. Okay, so getting that empathy, getting that understanding of whether you'd want to go there. Okay, so you are wanting to go to Hole's Homeland because you're learning about these aspects. After looking over the Camp Green Lake, what will you say to the warden? So this now entices somebody to come and visit this location because there's going to be a model of the warden, that villainous character from the story there. Maybe you'll put a villainous character like Scrooge in your Dickens Land that somebody could go and talk to or go and visit or go and throw things at. Maybe you're going to go and see those scenes that the Christmas ghosts of Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol saw. Okay, so this is enticing me in because it's making me think, when I go there, what am I going to be able to do at Hole's Homeland? What things will I be able to do? I know another character in the story was Zero, who was a hero, and so I'm using that device of rhyming here. So will you write a letter to Zero, the hero? Just rings true, doesn't it? When you say Zero, the hero, it makes you think as a reader, oh, maybe I'll go there. Maybe I'll see Zero, the hero. It sticks in your head. Tonight, guys, when you're going to bed, I'm sure many of you will be thinking about lots of computer games and books you're reading, but some of you, Zero, the hero, will have stuck in there. So can you make a rhyme with Marley or Scrooge or Dickens or Oliver Twist or Mr. Brownlow, one of the other characters from one of Charles Dickens' books? The engagingly authentic exhibit allows you to unpack the suitcase, okay? And again, here we've got the idea, it's not just open the suitcase, it's unpack, that powerful verb. And we've got the idea that it's not just a pretty rubbish suitcase, it's engagingly authentic. It really makes you want to look at it. It's amazing, it's powerful, it's worth looking at. how are you going to punish the warden? I really like this as a question. It makes me think, oh, I'm going to go there. He was a horrible old so-and-so, that warden. He would not give those documents to release those people from that place. He was not decent. He was not a good person. He was not a good character. How am I going to punish him? Am I going to make him dig a hole? Am I going to put him with lizards? What am I going to do to him? I'm going to throw things at him. What am I going to do? And there might be a version of the warden there. But now I'm rubbing my hands in glee because I get excited about going to Hole's homeland and think, what could I do when I get there? Surely, and we've got this point of agreement here. Surely you don't want to miss the opportunity to talk to the hologramic versions of Kissing Kate and Ella, so showing me more of the characters from the story there. And they're not going to be models. They're actually going to be holograms. They're going to be electronic versions, and you're going to be able to have a conversation with them. It sounds so exciting. We've got that really tempting attraction to it now, where I'm thinking, oh, I really want to go there. Then, using the knowledge of the story again, there's going to be this special offer. If you remember on our plan, we had the idea of how cheap it was going to be for a family. Visit this week, it says. Visit this week, and you could find the missing documents. Will you receive $2 million? Now, I've not promised that anybody's going to get $2 million. There might be a bit of hyperbole, but I know within the story, there was $2 million found by Stanley and his friends at the end of it. So I'm thinking maybe, could I tempt somebody in? Maybe Christmas Carol might Christmas Carol might offer you a free turkey or something if you go. We never know. How are you going to tempt somebody in? Now, as you're noticing on your no show, there's certain elements that in this short piece of writing I haven't included. That's because I didn't want to write the whole thing for you, even though it's about holes. I also wanted to see what you could do. So try and use those semicolons, try and use more rhetorical questions, try and use more of those emotive devices we talked of, such as those adverbs, those adjectives, those carefully chosen verbs and nouns. We thought in this piece of writing where we've used unpack rather than undo to try and make it clearer. Now, at the moment, the characters are used, but their names are there. And that's because you, as a group of readers, have read this book before. However, if I was trying to tempt somebody to come to Hole's homeland who'd never read Hole's, I might describe the warden as the villainous warden, or the villain, the warden. We're using that parenthesis to break up that sentence. I might explain who Kissing Kate and Zero are. I might talk more about Stanley and his personal history. So as you're writing your advert, you might want to think who your audience are going to, or you will want to think who your audience are going to be. If it's for Charles Dickens aficionados, so people who know about Charles Dickens, then within your piece of writing, you might not put too much information about the characters in. However, if you assume that some people, like us, are still learning about Charles Dickens, you might want to give that extra information. It's an opportunity for you to plan how you deliver that information. Guys, I'm really excited to read your descriptions of how you're going to tempt me into Dickens land. I'm sure somebody somewhere in London on the back of this might be making something. And I'm sure as well, maybe some of you could actually draw some pictures to show what Dickens world would look like, what Dickens land would look like. Can't wait to see them. Look forward to seeing you all as well soon. Send them in when you've done them, and we'll have a look at them to edit them tomorrow in tomorrow's session. Bye-bye, Year 6.